ain't get my piece. I'm pushing P. Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no peace. Got a spot across the spot.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Uncensored Entrepreneur Show for Couples. My name is Eric.
I'm Sierra.
And this is a fun show. This is our show. Basically, what the show is we talk about real shit. We talk about the shit that nobody wants to talk about. We get down and dirty on our life experiences, our business experiences, our whatever experiences, and talk about all of the stuff that doesn't go on Instagram or Facebook. I'm old. Or TikTok.
I don't know if you're going to say it again.
Anyway,
Instagram.
No, yeah, that's what it is. So we talk about the stuff that doesn't go on there. They talk about the stuff that makes people go out of business, go through divorces, hate each other
for adoption.
Right? Sell their kids, whatever. Just the painful tension, stress parts of being an entrepreneur, is in relation to being a family or being in a relationship, and why we do it, so that we use our examples and our struggles that we've gone through, barely made it out of some of them, to hopefully somebody hears it and can relate to it and will think twice before fucking up their relationship. You'll learn from our shit show. That's our saying nowadays. Like, we use our shit show to lessen the negative impacts of your shit show. Because at the end of the day, yes, being an entrepreneur is fun. It's rewarding. I when I say all these negative things, I don't mean like, man, I hate my job. Life sucks. It's phenomenal. It's very freeing. It's very powerful. It's very wonderful to be an entrepreneur. But it just takes a special kind of person. You're going to fail a lot. You're going to fall on your face a lot, and it just takes a particular kind of person. And if you aren't that kind of person, but you're married to somebody that is, man, what a roller coaster that is. Or if whatever, you're trying to figure it out together. Point is, being an entrepreneur, especially, startup business, newer business, or like a stagnant business or whatever, it's going to create... there's stress in everything that you do. There's always going to be stress. Yes, it's rewarding. Yes, it's fun. But how do you best work with that stress as it comes into your family? Because it's not one of those things where you're just like, well, I'm off work, and you clock out, and then you don't give a fuck about everything that happened at work, and then you start it again the next day. It's not like that. It's your life, right? As is your family. So how do you not have them clash and have that atomic bomb happen? So. And that's what we talk about. And, do we know what we're doing? Absolutely fucking not. We don't have a clue. Like I mentioned, I just...
Fake it till you make it.
Somebody gave me access to a bunch of cool shit. And I come on here. But I'll tell you what, fucking sounds good, doesn't it?
It does.
But no, for real though, it's, we don't have it figured out. We're not experts in this field. Don't fucking sue us because we're not, I'm not a fucking marriage counselor, or I'm a roofing contractor. I can do that shit for you. Mm-hmm. But we've gone through stuff, and we've gotten through stuff, and a lot of the stuff we have gotten through the wrong way, and that's key here. Don't miss out on that important fact. It's not like we just got lucky and coasted through some shit and we're like, hey, man, we should tell people how we coasted through some shit so they coast through. We went through our struggles the wrong way, most of them. But then we learned, and we're like, fuck, we should have gone through it this way. This is how we should do it. And in doing that, has made it easier, not easy, but easier, the next struggle that we have, because we look at it from a different lens. So that's where our experience comes from, right? 5 kids, multi-million-dollar business, married for, I walked right into this one.
Wow.
6 years?
No.
5. 5 years. See, look at that. So eager to spend the rest of our life together that I added another year already.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hurry up and get there. So our dating anniversary is on April 1st, and I always joke because I'm,
That's like a jinx all in itself.
yeah, like if you don't know me, I'm a little bit of a sarcastic ass, and so I always joke sometimes, and I'll be like, yeah, our anniversary is on April 1st. Our whole relationship's a joke. April Fools. Like I just think of that Dumb and Dumber scene where the dude like spends 10 years or some shit in some like institution not talking just as a joke, and it's like 30 years later, all of a sudden I'm gonna be like April Fools and then fucking walk out. But mental note, that would be my exit. So anyway, not gonna happen. She can't get rid of me that easy. So anyway, that's the point, right? So we have fun, we dick around, we joke around a lot, some people, if you're like the serious type that's like, oh, how can you talk about giving your kids away, and how can you joke about that? And we're not going to be each other's cup of teas.
We're
and
not
you
for
can
everybody.
you can just fucking stop listening now because you're going to get offended. But no, we seriously don't want to give our kids away. Let me rephrase. No, we're not going to seriously give our kids away.
There you go.
Are we going to joke about it all the time? Absolutely. If you have kids, man, again, we're talking about the shit that's not on Facebook and Instagram, right?
And that's the only way we get through it is by joking about giving them away.
We love our kids, but sometimes it would be given away. We can't. Sometimes people wouldn't pay us for them. I'd have to pay them to take them, right? But no, so our kids are great, whatever. So I guess we should disclose, because I'm sure we have people listening to us that don't know us. Hopefully more than just my mom is listening to this shit. But that's the thing, right? We don't. We fuck around a lot, right? We live life. Life is fun, right? And so the point of it is, if it's not fun, do what you got to do to make it fun. Lighten up a little bit. We're all jokes. So we joke around a lot. But that is just who we are. And we know that, sometimes we will legitimately do something to piss each other off. But then we'll bring humor into it, because we really know, like when you think about it for a second, and maybe it's all by accident, but we'll bring humor into it, and we kind of laugh it off and yeah, you are stupid, and it's usually like me doing something dumb and then her, me trying to be funny to like distract her, but it's not like life changing, right?
Yeah.
And then you get through it, you work through it, right? So I think communication's key, and comedy is key.
Definitely.
So if you do something astronomically dumb to your spouse, just fucking make jokes about it, and everything will be fine. This is one of those situations where you don't want to sue me when your wife leaves you for,
making a joke about
making
something.
a joke over like having an affair with her.
Oh, good Lord.
So anyway, yeah. I've had a lot of energy drinks today. Maybe we should just sign off today.
I'll take over for the story.
Right. But yeah, so that's why we do the show. That's what the show's about. We just talk about our experiences, and hopefully somebody finds it relatable. And if not, then hopefully you're laughing at how stupid we are. And and if not, then whatever. You're still listening. So cool. So today we got some kind of, I guess it's good we started with all this comedy, because we got some intense topics, some real topics, diving deep, and big old episode, whatever this is, 5. God, like when you think about like when we're on episode 100. Anyway, so a couple of things we're going to talk about today, right? We're going to talk about your circle of influence, not confusing that with your circle of friends. What the circle is. You may or may not have heard that. Like, who's in your circle? Getting rid of toxic people, working, intermingling like family relationships and working and stuff like that. And so those are kind of some of the things we're going to talk about. And first, they all kind of correlate. So first up, I want to talk about circle, right? Your circle. If you do any kind of training or listen to any kind of podcast or other than this one, of course, any kind of whatever motivational stuff or whatever. Like sometimes you hear like successful people talking about like who's in your circle, right? There's several different sayings around that. You are the average of the 5 people that you hang around the most. For simplicity, my mom always used to say, "You are who you hang out with," and I'm like, whatever, Mom. But it's true, right? But a lot of people say like, who's in your circle? Like, oh, like only have the best in your circle and like whatever. And so people correlate that into like friends and family. And they're like, well, I got these friends, like they're my best friends. Right. But they don't inspire me. They don't motivate me. They don't help me, get into bigger things. And if that's you, that doesn't mean that your friends are. So don't confuse circle of influence with your circle, right? So both of which should be small, I guess. And as you're going through this navigation journey of, being an entrepreneur, it's going to get smaller, and it'll probably change. But for me, I have a couple of circles, right? So I have my circle of influence, and this is just the people who influence me, right? The people whose opinions
matter.
They mean the most. Accountability partners, people who, if I ask advice from or whatever, these are people that their answers are going to weigh heavily onto the decisions that I make. But then you have like your regular circle, right? So in other words, what I'm saying is when people say like, oh, like clean up your circle or, pay attention to who's in your circle, it doesn't mean like get rid of all your friends and family that aren't, thriving to make you launch into success. You can still hang out with friends. You can still have friends. You can still, have family. We'll get into toxic later because that's different. But you can still have, friends and family. I have tons of friends, or at least I'd like to think that. But, I have friends that, that I hang out with and I trust their opinion. I value their opinion, and family and stuff like that. And so let me simplify it maybe. Let me put it this way. You ever have somebody, and it's usually your mom, sorry, Mom, tell you need to slow down. Take a break. Take it easy. You're doing too much. Make sure you're allowing time to relax. That's not somebody that's in my circle of influence. They're in my circle, right? Because it's... Oops. They're in my circle because it is my mom, right? But they're not in my circle of influence. So the people in my circle of influence are going to say, you're not doing enough. You need to do more. Sleep when you're dead, right? Yeah. And it doesn't mean run ragged. I mean, there's so many people. It's such a controversial topic, right? And I don't pay any attention to the ones that tell me to slow down because I'm happy, right? I do a lot. I go 1,000,000 miles an hour. I try to always do more. I'm always like consumed every moment of every day, but I'm happy because I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm having a blast doing it, and I'm helping other people, and I'm serving our communities, and that's what I want to be doing. I don't want to slow down. I don't want to take a break. I don't want to take it easy. I can do that. I just got fucked up by getting bit by something. I was down for 2 weeks, and I freaking hated it. Like, I'm not built to sit here and binge on Netflix. I'm not built to take a week vacation and go sit on a beach and do nothing, right? If I need to reset, I go to the beach, I'm going to bring my laptop because then I'm not being bothered by people while I work. I'm not built to just sit here. I was given gifts, by God, to inspire people, to help people, to serve people, to use all the resources I have to fulfill others. and that's what I'm built to do. That's what I'm meant to do, right? And realistically, like the day I stop moving, I'll probably drop dead anyway. And then, I got to keep running circles and make it seem like I'm young, so I can keep this hottie. But yeah, I mean, is in terms of circles, that's what it is. There's a difference to me between friends and family and then your circle of influence.
Yeah, and you're gonna have the friends that like you've had since like elementary school or high school, and you'll always be best friends with them. But sometimes you'll come to a realization that those people, they're great people, but they might not want to do the same things that you want to do. They might not want to do these huge things that you want to do and make a difference. So when you talk to them and you're all excited and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do this, this, and this, they'll be supportive, but they aren't going to be the ones that help you get there. Your circle of influence is. So.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then, that segues us into, toxic people, right? So there's a difference, right? My mom, who's like, slow down, make sure you're resting, you're going too fast, you're doing too much. That's not toxic, right? Toxic are the people that they're always negative. They're always complaining. There's an excuse for every problem. Never a solution. Victimized, never looking for a solution to the problem, always trying to be a victim of a problem.
Blaming other people.
Yeah, stuff like that. And, the people that are bitching about the gas prices, the people that are, complaining about
having to wake up early to go to work.
Yeah, or fucking politics or, material prices or whatever. Like the conspiracy theorists and the whatever, like, those are the kind of people that you want to cut out of your life, right? So, Ed Milet says something really cool, and I like it. And I heard it from several friends, but if it's not going to matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 seconds on it. And I mean, for me, fast-paced industry, I mean, if it's not going to matter in 5 months, in 5 days, don't spend more than 5 seconds on it. And, it's a powerful quote. I mean, essentially, like, where do you... Ed Milet said something else that was phenomenal. I'm sure it was Ed. He says, everybody has the same amount of minutes, right? If you blow $100 on something stupid, you can make another $100. But if you blow an hour on something stupid, you can't get that hour back.
Get that hour back. Yeah.
So he calls them non-refundable minutes. And that's so powerful because everybody has non-refundable minutes. So when you spend it, they're gone. You're out. What are you going to do with your minutes? Where are you going to put them? Are you going to spend your non-refundable minutes listening to the same people bitch over and over on the news? Or, the same complainers, the same whiners, the same whatever, right? And I don't care if it's friends, family, acquaintances, strangers, employees, doesn't matter. Are you going to spend your attention on that, or are you going to focus on the finish line of your goal? Because at the end of the day, that's what you always need to focus on. Every action you take, every step you take, every decision you make should be centered around getting you to the finish line of your goal. And this is your business goal, your professional goal, your financial goal, your relationship goal, your faith goal, whatever goals you have, all the goals that you have, every step that you take or every decision you make should be focused on getting you to those goals.
With intention, yeah.
Yeah. And are you going to get closer to any goals by sitting there listening to, somebody complain and bitch about stuff over and over and over, right? So if there's a solution or if there's a problem, what's the solution? Let's come up with a solution.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to when we talked about attitude, how important attitude is. If you're hanging around those people that are always complaining, it's just going to bring your energy down. It's going to bring your confidence down, your mood, and you will eventually start thinking negatively too if you hang around with those people too much and you don't want to.
Right. Nobody wants to be negative.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with problems and you're dealing with negativity, and then you solve that problem for that person, and you keep dealing or assist them in solving the problem, and then you got to turn around and you got to put a smiling face on and go deal with a customer, and not deal with a customer, go have the privilege to go interact with a customer. Is it going to affect your mood? Yeah. Like, it's not going to make you want to do stuff. I used to sit in parking lots in front of offices where I'm supposed to go with a smiling face and sell myself. And the gigolo, I used to be a gigolo. And just kidding. But sell myself, right? And I used to have to do that, but then I just sat in the car for 30 minutes putting out fires. You know, and it affects your attitude,
Yeah.
right?
Just make it to where you don't want to go into that office and be happy.
Yeah, and you always have fires to put out, but I mean, the idea is, you know, how are you putting them out? Are you viewing it as, I got a problem, which, you know, I need to come up with a solution. A problem is just an opportunity, and that's the mindset shift. That's the difference between the circle and the circle of influence, right? The circle saying, man, you always deal with so many problems. Like, that's got to suck. You know, fuck, you need a vacation. You know, your circle of influence is, man, you got some problems. Those are opportunities.
You're lucky to have problems.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have problems, then
A
you're
problem
not
is an
lucky.
opportunity. It's an opportunity to turn it around and make a happy customer. It's an opportunity to turn it around and make an additional sale. It's an opportunity to solve the problem, right, and come out shining. So, you know, but, you know, it's just, you got to cut the toxic people out of your life. Sometimes easier said than done, right? Acquaintances, easy. You know, friends, you know, probably easy, because if you're focusing on everything else, such as your goals, you're going to get too busy anyway, you know, and then you're going to naturally
Weed them out.
not going to want to have, you know.
Yeah.
And it goes both ways. And the downside is, like, there are friends that you do want to hang out with, and you're going to have so much fun. You're going to get so busy, and you're not going to have time to hang out with the good friends either. And that part sucks. But what's great is, you know, they're a good friend because they understand. They're happy for you and your success. And they're still there constantly reminding you, hey, you know, I want to hang out. Reminded me I was supposed to have a cigar with Dino today. So I'll have to reach out to him. Miss that dude. But anyway, you know, sometimes easier said than done, right? So, like, what happens if toxic people are your family, right?
Yeah.
Or, you know, or more or less they don't align, you know. But, and that's the tough thing too. So family, like, that's another big topic. Is I used to have this boss, and he would say, you know, we don't work with family. And I thought that was stupid, because my dad, he had a good point. He's like, you wouldn't know anything about roofing if you couldn't work with family. I'm like, Dan, that's a good point, right? So I grew to be the best roofer alive, by the way. But I learned everything I knew from my dad, you know, and you know, have since, obviously, through his retirement, have developed, you know, continuing development. But I learned the foundations of the roofing business, you know, from my dad. And I thought that was a stupid rule, you know, don't work with family, you know.
They're your family.
Maybe.
You love them. Why wouldn't you want to work
I'm
with
like,
them?
maybe your family, you know, like old boss, like, maybe your family sucks, but, like, my family's dope. But now, well, yeah, I can't give him credit.
know.
You know? I'm not
It's
gonna
funny.
fucking give him credit, you know. But
You know who you are.
you know who you fucking are. I know you're listening. But anyway, I say boss. It technically was partner, but, you know, whatever. So, but anyway, you have. I now agree with that rule. Don't work with family, and why? Because of experience, and to the extent that I don't let our employees, family can't work together, right? So if I have an employee's spouse or brother or dad or son or daughter, whatever, want to work for us, it's a no. It's a policy. You know, if you want them to work here, you got to quit. You know,
Yeah, if you
like
want
there's
that
no,
bad.
yeah, there's no family working here.
And it's pretty obvious why, because if they end up having an argument, they're gonna bring it into work.
Yeah.
There could be drama. We don't want drama coming into the workplace, the negativity, because then it's just another thing that we have to deal with. Break up a fight, and
Right.
Yeah.
It's emotions, right? And I get it. I hear you. Like, well, it's just business. If you have that upfront communication and that upfront expectation is set, and you ensure that the boundaries are in place and all that other stuff, and hey, I agree fully, right? Go ahead. If that's you and it works, do it. I'm just saying for us, okay? I'm empathetic. I'm, a people pleaser. Yes, it's all about business, but at the same time, I know that I don't have that ability to scold or reprimand to the degree that is justified or needed family as an employee. And you get stuck, right? And it's not easy, right? And so we've learned through our experience that we just family working with us just isn't going to happen. And we've had our own experience. We have obviously had family working for us, and I don't know. That's a touchy subject because it was her family, not
yeah,
mine.
it was hard.
You
Yeah,
know, so maybe she can segue into that.
I don't really know what to
Set
say.
the pace.
Well,
How did it go? What was it like? Why do we not work with family? Not necessarily performance or anything like that. So
Yeah.
basically, what it ended up to be was it was identified that it just wasn't the right fit, and which is fine. It happens. Any employee not being a right fit, you have your protocol. Actions are taken. You deal with it, right? But when it's family, that's whenever you start to think, oh well, shit. Like, what if they don't talk to us anymore? What if they're mad at us? What if they have an argument? What if they think it's a right fit, but we don't think it's a right fit?
yeah,
Which, was likely the case. So then we just get stuck in this uncomfortable zone of not wanting to do the hard thing because we didn't want to have to go through the repercussions of it.
yeah. Even with like small stuff, like even if there were like little things that were done wrong. Oh, sorry guys, I'm getting over being sick, so my voice sounds funny. Just small things. If something was done incorrectly or something wasn't done that we asked to be done a while ago, you think it's going to be easy. Oh, it's like they're my family. I can go tell them they did that wrong. For me, it wasn't.
Right.
Because we were having to walk on eggshells with this person.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like that's a training issue, right? So it could be, it could boil down to a training issue.
Like, yeah,
you
maybe
have
it was our
different
fault.
phases in the
Yeah.
company. Did they get the shit end of the stick? Kind of. I mean, we weren't set up. It was in the building of the foundation
Yeah,
phase,
very
right?
beginning.
We were not. I was not in the mindset to talk about circle of influences and Ed Milet and any of that other stuff. We were in the development phase of a company, and for the first time,
We were still learning how to do things too.
we were solopreneurs, and then we brought some people in to help, and so we didn't have the time invested, rather the time available to invest into the training and stuff like that. So yeah, like that's on us, and that's the thing. But the point is we get stuck in this position to where eventually it boils down to, hey, this is going to be a negative experience either way. What's the ultimate goal? What's the ultimate best thing for the long term of the
yeah.
company? For the growth of the company, because we did have that goal. We did have the goal of what direction we wanted the company to go, how large we wanted to get, and it was just identifying, is this, and don't get me wrong. So, you might have an individual, whether family or not, be the right person in the right position to get you from $500,000 to $1 million, from $1 million to $2 or $3 million. But that same person might not be the right fit to get you to $10 million or to $50 million, right? The same person that can get you to $10 million might not be the right fit to get you to $50 million, right? They're either going to grow and adapt with you or they're not. You know, and in this particular circumstance, it just didn't seem, you know, it just wasn't the right fit. And so we got stuck to the point where, you know, it was, you know, are we going to continue to live in this void of uncomfortableness? And due to that, it's going to put a strain on our relationship because there's all this bullshit he said, she said. And then obviously the growth of the company is not going to be there, which also isn't fair to anybody else that works for the company. You know, or are we just going to take the action and do the shitty thing? Now, was it done in the best way? Absolutely not. Was it done in the most fair way? Was it done in the best way for the employee? Absolutely not. You know, and I own that. And in fact, we still haven't fucking spoken to each other since. Yeah. You know, and it is what it is. You know, it's not, you know, I'm not thrilled with it, but at the same time, you know, I have to drive this bus of a company to its destination. And not to sound cold or harsh, but I need to get there at all costs. And for me, and this is just my opinion because obviously I don't know until you try it other ways. For me, I didn't see any alternative outcome. I didn't see any way to ensure a positive outcome. So if I'm going to get a negative outcome either way, for me, the best decision was to just cut the line and keep going. You know, because that was the most uninvolved I can be in the situation to keep driving the bus without having to put it in park and deal with some shit first to ultimately start driving it later and delay. Was it shitty? Yeah, but I don't think I would have done it any differently, you know, because it's just something that we just had to get through, you know, and since then, you know, Sierra talks to them still. You know, they're not, you know, having fucking brunch together or something like that, but you know, whatever, they talk. And ultimately that was my concern, which brings up another topic is the communication. So this is in regards to, now that that's out of the way, this is in regards to if you have family working together, working with you in your business and you're having problems. My opinion, my raw opinion, even if you're not having problems, fix it, change it. You know, change it. That's just my opinion. But because you will have problems. Yeah. But if that's the scenario, right? You gotta, you know, especially in other words, in our situation, whereas her family is working for our company, or if it was my family working for our company. The clear line of communication has to be so, like, without a doubt, on the same page and wavelengths before any actions are taken, right? I think it got to a point where Sierra was, you know, obviously we were in agreement of what needed to be done. I mean, that communication had to be clear because the one thing I can't do is I can't go and fire her family member without her knowing or agreeing or thinking the same thing or whatever. You know, did she agree with how it was done? Probably not. She probably didn't know. I don't know. But I think it got to the point where it's such a high stress situation for us and we're so, you know, mentally exhausted over it.
It was weighing on us so hard.
That it was just like where she's just like, look, just do what you got to do. But the point is that we had to be in agreement with the fact that we both agreed and understood, or for me, more or less, that she agreed and understood that it was the best decision for the company. So, I mean, uncomfortable, it sucks, whatever. So, in other words, like I said, a lot of the stuff that we learn and that we give you advice on is shit that we learned the wrong way, the hard way, right? So, if you were like, man, like I'm growing, I really need to make a hire right now, and you know, my wife's cousin was like, yo, I need a job. You know, I just got out the clink. Like, I don't know, man. I'm thinking
Those
Michael
cousins,
Scott.
God
What do you
damn
call
it.
Michael Scorn? What is it? Michael Scott's fucking alter ego,
God, I
the
don't remember.
gangster. Anyway, whatever, dude. Like you got like somebody in your spouse's family that like wants a job. My advice: don't fucking do it.
Don't do
That's
it.
just my advice, right? We actually had 2 family members working for us that were both her family members, and one of them there was legitimate performance issues, right? And that's why they were let go. And their reaction was consistent with exactly what I expected. And then come to find out later on, they were
Some things have come to light. in the last week or
they were
so
doing
that-
shit that put us at a high risk. Anyway, and then they had the balls to
that could have completely ruined our company.
bitch that,
Yeah.
that we fired him. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I mean, whatever, man. So it's and it's easier for me because like I have this, but now if the tables were turned and it was my family working for us and she was like, "Hey, we got to let this family member go." Obviously I don't know exactly how she felt because I didn't go through it. So it's easier for me. But I don't know. At the end of the day, my advice, my opinion is just don't work with family. Keep it separate. You want to go to Thanksgiving dinner and you don't want to, you want to fucking hang out with your family.
Yeah, have it be enjoyable.
You don't
no
want to sit
work
there
involved.
and wonder, I mean,
mad at me?
I won't be, God knows when the next time I'll be invited to a family event is, on her side of the family. But, and then that first time that I am, fuck, how fun is that going to be? Jesus. So, but whatever, it is what it is. Because at the end of the day, what I know is that I'm creating a culture and environment in the company that people are proud to be a part of, and that I'm setting our other employees up for success. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, right, I'm setting my family up for success. Because out of my many circles, my wife and my children are my circle, right? And whatever I have to do, right, even my own mom, like whatever I have to do, like I'll let her text me or call me or leave me a voicemail and say, "Oh, you just needed you to take it easy and slow down." She can say that until she's blue in the face, and I appreciate it, and I just need to do a better job of letting her know that, hey, I'm okay. But, for me, like, I'm going to go a million miles an hour until I get to my goal, right? Because for my goal is, it benefits all of our employees. It benefits our communities. It benefits, my family. It benefits, our church. It benefits whatever. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that, there's a lot of important things in this episode that are
I need to blow my nose, sorry. Continue.
probably scattered around, right? So, yeah, a lot of valuable content in here. Kind of bounce around a little bit, and it's sensitive topics, it's sensitive subjects. It's like for us, right? Like this is the first time that we've publicly talked about our scenario that we went through, with working with family, but. I know that there's other people out there working with family, and I know that there's other people out there that might not be in the best position working with family, and so it's just it is what it is. We just wanted to share our experience, and I am a firm believer now of don't work with family.
Yeah, and I don't remember who said it to you, but it stuck with me was don't hire someone. Wait, was it Grant or Jason? I don't know. Anyways, never hire someone you wouldn't be comfortable firing.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a given. That's a good. It was probably Grant and Jason. Yeah. They're kind of the same people. But yeah, it's never hire somebody that you wouldn't be comfortable firing. That's phenomenal advice. But here's the thing, like, don't hear that and be like, oh, I could do it. Like, business only.
Yeah.
We'll set up boundaries. We'll set up the think about it. Put yourself in that position to where you're firing this person and think about, can I do it? Yeah, apparently some jets flying overhead.
I also wanted to add that we had this conversation about with my family members.
Yeah.
That
Before we hired them.
that it wasn't that it might not be a permanent thing, and that once we start growing and hiring more office people and stuff, that they would gladly step out. We had that conversation.
But me and you had this conversation before we hired them too.
Yeah.
About like, hey, like about one, it being a temporary solution, and then two, can we, like what happens if something goes wrong? Are we going to be able to take that action? And we said, yeah. And then guess what?
And I even said it with them, the family member. So thinking it would be okay when that time came, and it did not go well. And also for me, it wasn't actually firing them that was hard. It was making sure that our personal relationship was still going to be okay afterwards.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. That's the whole point, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, right? Because we're the assholes. We're the and because here's the thing, like they might do a great job, and then you might identify, obviously the value, and then they might grow to love what they're doing, and then decide, you know what, this isn't a temporary thing. I'm in this, right? And it's not like we really set that expectation that it's a temporary thing because we weren't sure how it was going to work. Mm-hmm. But it's not like we knew that it was legitimately going to be temporary. It was really just contingent on how things work. But either way, I mean, so the point is, our opinion, stay away from working with family. I don't recommend it. I don't advise it. Keep your family as your family to where you can hang out with them, whatever that looks like on the family or the holidays or whatever, and just keep it like that. Because it might not go as well as our situation. And by that, I mean, your spouse might not agree. Your spouse might just say, well, just keep it as a company expense and just whatever. It might not go that way. And then you're feeling stuck because now you feel like it's you against your spouse and that employee. Mm-hmm. So I just stay away from it, right? And aside from all that, rid the toxic people in your life. Rather, don't give them the energy or the time. Don't use your non-refundable minutes on these toxic people. And pay attention to who's in your circle of influence, and don't confuse your circle of influence with your circle. Rather, don't kick all your friends and family to the curb. You still have friends, you still have family, you still have a life, right? But your circle of influence, are the people that's going to constantly motivate you, lift you up, drive you, and to do more and better, right? When you have a great month, your circle of influence are going to say, hey, great, cool, like here's a high five, do better next month. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not like, oh man, you had a great month. Like, dude, you should go take a vacation. You deserve it, right? No, don't get complacent, right? You can lose, you can compound those actions into getting great results, but you take a break and you stop those trying to get those results and watch how fast you'll lose the momentum.
Yep.
So anyway, that's what we got for today, today's episode. So again, thanks for tuning in if you made it this far. So to the Uncensored Entrepreneur Show for Couples. If you have questions, we like to hear your questions. If you have topics that you want us to discuss or talk about, you can always email those to questions@uncensoredpodcast.com. You can check us out at the Uncensored Entrepreneur Show on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Follow our social media for our clips and kind of up-to-date episode drops every single Monday. About midday, so that'll be there for your enjoyment to catch up on, and you all have a phenomenal week, and until next time, we will see you next week.
Push P.